It began like any ordinary morning in New York's luxury district. Shoppers in designer coats glided through glass doors, perfume in the air, and wealth hanging in every reflection. Then came Naomi Carter, a radiant black woman in her 7th month of pregnancy, entering quietly, carrying only a small purse and a warm smile. She wasn't dressed like the others, yet she exuded quiet confidence. But in a place where appearances decided worth, eyes turned sharp the moment she stepped inside. Within minutes, whispers filled the boutique, judgment dressed as customer service. And by the end of that visit, a single cruel act would expose the darkness hiding behind polished marble floors. Watch until the end, because justice sometimes walks in silence before it roars. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Naomi Carter wasn't just anyone. She was the wife of Angelo Russo, a businessman with vast influence, wealth, and the kind of quiet power people rarely spoke about, but always respected. Still, Naomi never flaunted her life. She believed true strength didn't need an audience. That morning, she had planned something simple, a surprise anniversary gift. She wanted to buy her husband a handcrafted leather jacket from the same Italian brand where they had first met years ago. Naomi loved blending in with the crowd, feeling ordinary in a world that often treated her as extraordinary. But her simplicity became her disguise, and in the wrong eyes, a reason for disdain. As she entered the boutique, the cold air of luxury greeted her. Rows of gleaming shelves, mirrors that stretched to the ceiling, and employees whose smiles never reached their eyes. Naomi walked gracefully, unaware that every step she took was being watched, not out of admiration, but suspicion. It wasn't her pregnancy they noticed. It was her skin. And soon, that silent bias would erupt into a storm that would shake the entire store. Naomi moved toward the men's collection, gently running her hand across the leather, smooth, soft, and perfectly crafted. She could almost picture Angelo wearing it. But just as she reached for one of the jackets, a whisper broke the silence. "Keep an eye on her." It was the store manager, Veronica Hayes, a tall, impeccably dressed woman with a smile that could slice through glass. Naomi pretended not to hear, focusing instead on the jacket's stitching. Yet she could feel the tension tighten around her like a noose. A salesgirl appeared beside her, asking if she needed help, though the tone carried something else, disbelief, perhaps even annoyance. Naomi thanked her politely and kept browsing. But soon, 2 more employees began circling her, pretending to organize shelves she wasn't near. Their eyes spoke louder than their silence. Then came the turning point. Naomi gently picked up a limited edition handbag, admiring its craftsmanship. That simple act was enough. Veronica marched across the store, heels echoing like warning shots. "Excuse me?" she roared, grabbing the bag from Naomi's hands. "These are display pieces. We don't usually let people handle them." Naomi blinked, her voice calm. "I was only looking," but Veronica cut her off. "I've seen this before. You people come in, pretend to shop, and then—" Before Naomi could finish her sentence, the manager's palm cracked across her face. Gasps rippled through the boutique. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Naomi stumbled slightly, clutching her belly. Cameras blinked red above, recording everything. The silence afterward was heavier than the slap. Veronica, chest heaving, realized too late that she'd gone too far. But Naomi didn't scream. She didn't argue. She only looked up, eyes calm but filled with something far more profound. Power, restrained behind grace. 5 minutes later, the glass doors swung open. 2 men in black suits stepped inside, silent, coordinated, and cold. Customers backed away. Veronica straightened, assuming they were police. "Good, you're here. she said sharply. I want this woman escorted out. The taller man cut her off, handing her a phone. The name flashing on the screen froze her blood. Angelo Russo. A deep voice came through. You laid a hand on my wife. The boutique seemed to shrink. Veronica's throat tightened. I didn't know. You didn't need to know, Angelo replied. You just showed the world who you really are. Security locked the doors. One of the suited men handed over an envelope, a cease and desist order, a lawsuit prepared, and video footage already sent to the press. Customers whispered in disbelief as Naomi stood quietly, her hand resting protectively over her stomach. Veronica, Naomi said softly, her tone calm but unyielding. This isn't about me. It's about every woman who ever walked into a place and was treated as less. Today the world will see them. And with that, she turned and walked out, leaving behind a storm that would destroy the store's image forever. By nightfall, the video had gone viral. Luxury store manager slaps black pregnant woman. Turns out she's Mafia boss's wife. The headline spread like wildfire. Millions watched, outraged and stunned. The boutique issued an apology, but it was too late. Investors pulled out, the manager was fired and arrested for assault, and the brand faced boycotts across continents. Naomi never once appeared in interviews. She didn't need to. Her silence was louder than any statement. Days later, she revisited the spot, standing across the street watching the store's shutters close. A drizzle began to fall, and for a moment, she smiled, not out of triumph, but out of peace. Justice had been served, but her heart ached for all those who hadn't been filmed, whose stories had vanished into silence. A reporter approached her timidly. Mrs. Russo, do you have anything to say to the people watching? Naomi looked into the camera and said quietly, Power isn't about revenge. It's about truth, about standing tall when others want to see you fall. I didn't speak for myself. I spoke for every woman who was told she didn't belong. The clip went viral again, sparking global conversations on racism, privilege, and dignity. Naomi Carter had walked into that store as just another woman. She walked out as a symbol of justice, proof that grace can carry more weight than power ever will. And you? What would you have done if you saw it happen right in front of you? Where are you watching from? Take care.